Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How we doing, Paige? Am I coming in loud and clear?
Okay, guys, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay, I tried to mute the line, but I think I only muted myself. Okay, so if everybody will, here, I've got it now. 1 second. Josh, after I do this, you'll probably need to do star six, okay? Okay, I think we're good now. All right, so guys, thank you for joining us this Friday for our Team Empowerment and Continental Friday morning call. As always, we're going to start by reading the leaderboard. So let's see. We have Sylvia S. with 2 applications for 683. We have Chris H. with 1 application for 720. We have Jeff G. with 1 application for 738. We have Nadia M. with 1 application, 928. We have Janine and Lori. I think we're going to rename them Thelma and Louise, with 3 applications for 2,166. Watch out, Charlotte. Here they come. Sarah Z. has 3 applications for 2,278. Cliff J. has 1 application for 2,580. Kayla R. has 7 applications for 2,939. Jennifer C. 2 applications for 3,572. Chantel W. with 6 applications for 5,253. And then myself with 8 applications for 7,826. That brings us to a team total of 29,683 with 35 applications, so 35 families helped, and 12 riders total. So nice work, everybody, and let's keep it going. Lots of families out there need our help. Now, today we're very fortunate to have Josh Rose with us. He's with FFL Coastal. And Josh is very well known in all of Family First Life for being in the very top agents for placement and persistency. And Josh, first of all, thank you for joining us. I know you are recovering from the flu, so we're glad you're feeling well enough and to help us this morning. We have a lot of new agents, Josh, so if you don't mind starting just kind of maybe reiterating what placement and persistency is and why it's so important.
Absolutely. Am I coming in loud and clear?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay, and sorry if my voice is a little scary sounding. I am getting over the flu, but I'll be fine. Thank you for having me on. It's always an honor to help out the team. So placement and persistency, placement is just getting your business placed. The main thing that can help with that is try to do all EAPs and write all America because you get it approved in the home. Persistency is keeping your business on the books. So after you write it, the client keeps it. That's pretty much that in a nutshell. Do you want me to keep going?
Okay, sorry. No, I was muted. I muted myself again.
Okay.
So placement is actually when you are submitting an application and it gets approved, right? And
exactly.
Gets put in force. And then persistency is when it stays on the books and we don't get chargebacks. And as a new team, I know we have several agents who are who are learning about chargebacks and are not loving them. Not that any of us do. So, Josh, if you could just give tips, first of all, I think we want to talk mostly about how you tie down your applications so that they are less likely to cancel it. But if you start with how you, I guess field underwrite is the right word for that, how you are making sure that you are getting people with the right company and the right carrier. You're right. We always want to go with Americo, but there are times when they won't pass Americo's underwriting. So can you just give us some details on that?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the first things I want to say is with chargebacks is you're not going to eliminate them all. It's just part of the business. So your mindset, you can't just freak out every time you get a chargeback, because that's what I used to do. I used to get them all the time, and it sucked. But once you realize it's a part of the business, all you can really do is try to improve and get better, and try to make sure things stay in the books better. And that's just improving things within yourself and selling more value, and earn the client's trust. When it comes to field underwriting, when you're in the appointment, just having a lot of structure. I'm sure everyone's in home is bits and pieces of everybody's else out there, but doing the financial inventory, hammering them about their medications, figuring out exactly everything that's happened to them in their health, and going through that, and then looking at the underwriting guides. We have some grids that we use on our Dropbox, so I look at those all the time. And I've been doing this for six years, and I still look at these things every time. If they're on a bunch of medicines, I'll Google them, and then I'll look at double check. I'll read if I know they're going to get whole life, I'll reread the app just to make sure I know I'm going to quote them I'm going to quote them the right thing before I show it to them. So just being diligent and taking your time in the home, and always hope everyone's going to be healthy, but for the most part, a lot of the times you're going to write whole life anyways to people who in their upper 50s, 60s, because they've had some issues. So just expecting that. In the financial inventory, it's your facts finder, so it allows you to figure out exactly what's going on. So if they are healthy enough for term, but they're on pain medicines, you're not going to do Americo, and whatnot. So certain things like that you'll learn as you keep doing it over and over. But the good thing is, even if you do Americo and you're doing e-apps and it gets the client in the house, you can really hammer them more, and you can ask more questions, and then you can figure out something to help them get the right thing for them. What was the second part to that question? I'm sorry, I'm a little out of it still.
Oh, no, that's totally understandable. So once you have determined what company and what product, and you're doing the e-app or, heaven forbid, Transamerica's paper application.
Yeah, I hate those.
Necessary evil. At least we can get them immediate coverage. But what do you do, Josh, in terms of building value and in terms of making the application stick so that your persistency is good and you are in chargeback hell less often?
Okay, got it. Yeah, I wrote some notes last night about what I was going to say, kind of about that. So one thing I know that I used to do that when I was newer, that I would get a ton of chargebacks, is I would do the let's just see if we can get you approved close and tell them they can cancel after 30 days. And that, about 90% of the time is going to charge back. So if you're doing that because you're desperate, because you want a commission, just stop doing that. Let's just see if we can get you approved. That's a recipe for disaster. So stop doing that, and then while you're in the home, build a ton of value. Dig deep on the why. Don't close them until you have a good reason for why they really need the coverage. Your job is to be a problem solver. You solve their financial problems with the questions you ask through the financial inventory. And like if you're selling like a HMS plan, every time I go through the HMS, it's the product feature sheet. I know there was a national call on it like last year or the year before that Drew did, so the whole company has it. But I go through that with them. I get it out. I explain to them, in detail, and I'll tell stories with it. like if they got cancer, how they can get the money out, or how, like Richard, his mom got cancer and she got to accelerate the benefit. So I'm just building value through stories and, just telling them what it's going to do for their family with the living benefits, and then with the cash back, if they're young enough to get it, then I'll, tell them how they can use it for a savings account, and pay the house off early. If they're paying extra into the mortgage, we take that money and put it into the policy. So just building tons of value, in it through that. For HMS, I mean, if you got to do a different company, you can do it like that as well. And then, like, for whole life, when you're selling whole life, for mortgage protection, it's just painting the picture of what it's going to do for them. If it's going to protect them for a critical period of time, if it's going to allow them to, stay in the house and sell it and protect the equity, or how much how much that $30,000 policy is going to protect if they have $100,000 in equity. So just really painting a picture about what it's going to do compared to just showing them $30,000 of coverage for $200 a month. You have to paint a picture, and just so it's tons of value. Top down sell also. Show them the most they can get. If it's whole life, if it's, I'll show them like the most they can get in with one carrier if they're older, and then just go down from there, and just find something that fits their budget. And, make sure it does. If you can read their body language and they can kind of tell they're off, but they're going to go with it anyways, it's never a bad idea just to lower it and tell them that, if they want to change it after it's approved, we got 30 days to change it, to increase or decrease it. Never say they can cancel, even though they can. I just don't tell them they can. And, just always having tons of structure and telling them what you're going to do. And then, let me see here.
So, Josh, if I can interject.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's one thing I realized. I was trying to copy a combination of Zach T. and Daniel Byrne, different recordings I had heard about an introduction in the home, and, to give structure, right? And I can remember that after listening to Zach T's recording, that he actually tells them, hey, and at the end we're going to put in an application. And that intimidated me. I was really hesitant to say that. I'd like to say in the beginning, but this was just 2 years ago. I was, or a year and a half ago, and I was afraid to say in the beginning we're going to put in an application. So when I did finally start saying it, I said we're going to put in an application to see if we can get you approved. And it, that resulted in me getting chargebacks, right? Because I set that structure up in the beginning. So it was almost like, hey, we're gambling in Vegas. Let's roll the dice and see where we land, right? I quickly realized that I needed to change that. Now I say, and I heard this on a call, I don't remember who it was, and that's how we all get better, is listening to the calls and stealing stuff. But I tell them we're going to complete a full application, send it to the company, see if we can get you approved, and get the coverage in force to protect your family. And I found that saying that in the beginning seems to have made a difference. And, I'm very careful, like I think you just said it, that if I'm using the, let's submit the application, I don't know if you're going to be approved. Let's pick the one you're comfortable with for your budget right now, and you do have 30 days to increase it or decrease it. And I'm just like you now. I never use the word cancel, and in the beginning I did.
Absolutely.
I think that's
huge.
really important. Yeah. And, guys, if you don't have the HMS plan benefit sheet that Josh is referring to, shoot me a text or, or something on the WhatsApp. I have that. I'll be happy to send it out. Matter of fact, I'll just have Freddie send it to the whole team. I'm using it. I know I've passed it to some agents. I have it printed. I have it in my bag, and I don't pull it out unless I know I'm going to be going with HMS, because I don't want to set people up like Josh, like you said. You don't want to tell them, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then you're like, oh, no, we're not. That's kind of counterproductive when you're in the home. But once I know we're going to be doing that, I pull it out and I go over it with them. So I think that's and most of this I've learned from your team. You're setting up the value in the home.
Yep.
So, and I think the other thing you mentioned that some of us might be missing is that, we got to go in there and find the why. We got to ask enough questions to understand why they need the coverage, so that we're using their why as the close instead of, oh, you can cancel in 30 days, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. That's good stuff. Now, in what other advice can you give us in terms of, just getting in there and coming out with the coverage without, and having less of a chance? What do you say, like, after you've done the EAP? If they're approved, do you tell them, or do you some people do a takeaway and they don't tell them till the next day? How do you handle that part of it?
Oh, yeah. So, when I'm writing mostly America, most of them are getting approved in the house. I used to kind of do that, but I'd rather just tell them when they're approved. So I tell them when they're approved, and I tell them, when they're going to get their policy. Also with those sheets, before I forget, I have a bunch of them printed out. So after they are approved, I take whatever one they picked, and at the bottom of the sheet, so if they got $200,000 of coverage, I'll write $200,000, $50,000 accidental if it's the 125, $200,000 of the living benefits, and it's $200 a month, and they're going to get back $30,000 in 25 years, and I'll write draft on approval. So basically, and then I'll be like, you're going to see it hit your bank in a day or two, because most of the time it's, we're doing it on this, the same day for most all mortgage protection. So I'll leave that with them, but I'm telling them, I'll show it to them. I'll say, congratulations, you're approved. You're going to get your policy, probably in a week or two. And in some cases, I'll whip out my policy and I'll show them it's going to come in a blue folder like this, because I have an America policy. I'll show it to them. And I'll tell them, listen, I tell all my clients, you're stuck with me for life. 9 to 12 months out, you're going to hear from me. I'm going to do a review with you, if it's over the phone, or I'm going to come out, because in some cases I'm working in different states. So to do annual reviews with everybody I could do, but, who knows if I'll be working in. The goal is to have someone, working in some of the states where I'm at, eventually. So I'll tell them that, I'm going to do a review with you once a year. If you ever need anything, call me, questions, concerns, need anything at any time. If they're like older ladies or whatever, I'll tell them, if you need help lifting anything, you give me a call at any time, just to crack a joke with them. And then I'll tell them, God forbid you ever need to file one of these claims. If you get sick, if we did the term with living benefits, I'd be like, you call me. I'm going to be the one helping you get the money as fast as possible. God forbid, when you pass, make sure if they're single, I'll be like, I'll give them a couple of cards. Make sure your family has my number, because I'm going to be the one helping them to get the money as fast as possible. That's my job. That's when my value comes into play. And I tell them, if you need anything at any time, call me. And if they're not approved in the house, I tell them, here's what's going to happen. It's going to take a couple of days to get, for underwriting to go through. If they need to do a phone interview, I'm going to text you because Mutual likes to do phone interviews. I'll be like, I'm going to text you with the phone number so you can click to call it, so it's easy. And then when it's approved, I'll call you and let you know. And then it'll take about a week or two to get your policy. And I'm telling them when it's going to draft. After it's approved, it's going to draft within a couple business days. Because usually they don't see it for a day or two anyways, even if you draft it upon approval. And I just tell them I'm very structured with what's going to happen, when they're going to get their policies. And then I tell everybody if they want me to come out and go over it with them to call me. I do travel. I work in 3 different states. So if we can also do that over the phone. And, I've been doing this for a while. I've had 2 or 3 people want me to come out and go over it with them. And I would go over it with everybody, but the reality is it's just I'm all over the place. And then just being there for them. I also send out little postcards that I, had made up on Vistaprint, and I send those out, typically around right after once the week's over, I'll, send out the postcards, and that's about it. I used to call them a couple times, but I found, just being really structured, and if you sell enough value, you don't need to be calling them all the time. If I write like big policies and they have annuity money, then I'm telling them, listen, I'm coming out to go over it with them. But, I mean, for the most part, that's pretty much it. I used to call them a lot more, but now I found that just sending the postcard and just being structured with them helps.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And, you know, I felt like I was doing a good job of that. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, after you've sold value in the policy, you're selling value in you. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just telling them what, even though I just help them with the policy, I'm telling them what my job is for them when they need it most. And I tell them, you know, here's what you're going to do. Like after if it's term, I'm like, you're going to get this if you die. And I retell them what's going on in the policy, if it was like a term or a whole life. And then I'm like, listen, God forbid anything happens, I'm the one who's going to be helping you. I'm your guy. You call me when you need it most. And some people be like, yeah, well, I'm like, even if it's 20 years from now, they're like, you're still going to be doing this? I'm like, I'm going to be doing this, you know, forever. I may not be in the field, but I'll still have my license. I'll be able to help you out. So,
yep.
Yeah, because some people be funny like that. Like, you're going to be doing this in 30 years? I'm like, yep, I'm going to bring you your check back.
There you go. I can't wait to bring you
I mean, hopefully I'm not dead. So you never know. I could die before you.
I might be in a wheelchair, but I'll bring you your check. No. You know, it's good. I made notes because, Josh, I feel, you know, that's one thing I've always tried to do is, you know, I'm your person. I'm here if you need anything. But you added a few extra things in there. You know, I don't usually say if you need, God forbid, you need one of these living benefits to kick in, you know, I'm your person. So I think that's really important. And I hope everybody was writing that down because this is it's not to say that you're not going to get chargebacks if you do this, but you are going to get less of them. Because even if somebody comes in behind you and they've got something that's $5 or something cheaper, it was you know, they're going to be like, yeah, but we have Josh and Josh is going to take care of us. So, you know, when you build that value, that's important. Now, you mentioned a postcard. Is that like a thank you card or something like that you do?
Yeah, it just says like I'm grateful for being able to help your family out. I don't even have any in front of me. It says I'm grateful for helping your family out. You know, if you need anything, please call me at any time. I'm looking to see if I have any around the house here. I have them all at the office. But it just says,
okay.
You know, family first life is, you know, family first life, you know, helping families is what we do. I'm grateful I was able to help your family out. If you need anything at any time, don't hesitate to call. And then it just has my, you know, my phone number, email, and then I just send it out. I don't even handwrite things, and I don't know.
Yeah, at first I was handwriting thank you notes, but once you start writing more business, that can take a while. So we actually developed a little thank you card as well that I do through Vistaprint. And when they get approved, you know, we're sending that out. And basically all I'm doing is signing my name. And we did the same with the birthday cards. Josh, do you do birthday cards?
I haven't, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. As soon as I have staff, I'll have them do it.
So, you know, what we did was and guys, this is just another way that you can stay kind of in your clients' minds. If you use CRM correctly, it will, we put in a reminder about a week before their birthday so I can mail it's a postcard. So, again, you know, postage on postcards is a lot. Postage isn't much anyway, but postcards is even less. So we send that out.
Yep.
It's a way, you know, and it says, you know, it says about their birthday and things like that. And I did all this on Vistaprint. I'm happy to share it with anybody, so feel free to reach out. But we send that out. Yeah. And then CRM will also send you an email on their actual birthday. And if I have time, I will actually call them on their birthday and wish them a happy birthday, like in person. And they're like, oh, my gosh, thank you. I had one lady who sent me a thank you card for sending her a birthday card. And she goes, I could not.
That's
isn't
awesome.
That funny? She was like, I could not believe that you remembered my birthday. That means so much. Thank you. And
That's so awesome.
And then I've had like 2 or 3 clients call me after they got my birthday card to thank me for sending it. It's just a little postcard, but I think it means something that you remember them. And to be honest, CRM is the one helping me remember them, right? Because in the beginning, I could remember everybody, but I have so many clients, I don't remember them all now. But CRM helps with that a lot. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it works good. And like I said, anybody who wants to see these thank you cards or the birthday cards, and Josh, when you are feeling better and you get back to the office, shoot me over a picture of yours, or I guess I'll see you Monday. Maybe I'll grab yours. People can use them just as a comparison, so they can make one they like.
Yeah, definitely. I'll take a look at your birthday one too. If that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. No, I'll bring it with me. So,
cool.
Any other closing thoughts that you have for us?
I think just be yourself and be honest with the clients and just be you, and don't try to be relaxed and just have fun with it. I mean, people see right through it if you're just there, just to try to sell them something. But when you're relaxed and don't really care if you sell them something, I mean, you want to help everybody, but the reality is if you don't really need to help everybody, people see that you're busy and you're there to help people. I mean, if that makes any sense. You can't have commission breath is kind of what I'm saying.
Yep, that's a good point. That is a very good point. Well, Josh, thank you.
Be you.
I know you're not feeling 100%, but I found this very helpful. I'm sure everyone on the call did. Yeah, so I really appreciate you.
Made me feel better to help out.
Good.
Yeah, made me feel better to help out.
So. It's nice to think about work and try and forget about the flu for a few minutes anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
good deal.
It's been very helpful. I appreciate it. Guys, we're going to blast out a few things like the HMS plan benefit sheet that Josh mentioned. We're going to blast out links to the thank you card and the happy birthday card that I used, and then next week we'll send out what Josh is using so you can use it as a comparison. And if anybody wants any other thing after listening to this call, just reach out and let us know. And thanks again, Josh. And everybody, go make it a big week. We had great numbers in March, and we want to keep that momentum going. If Chantel and I can do anything, please reach out and let us know. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.